All of y'all get from up here. All of y'all get from up here. Nope. Sit down, boy. Sit down. Sit down. Nope. Sit down, boy. I know he mad. Yeah, you mad. Yeah, you mad. Let's go. Who want it? You want it? You want it? You want it? Yo, what up, y'all? Hold on, let me get from around here. What up, y'all? It's your boy C-Kid here, man. Back with another video for y'all. Now, today's video, I'm super hyped because I finally get to bring to y'all the LG C3 versus the LG C2. Two big dogs in the OLED TV space right now. But in this video, man, I'm gonna be breaking everything down when it comes to overall build quality, picture quality, audio quality, gaming on here. Let's break it down, man. Let's get to it. All right, so since we pretty much got this already up and playing, let's go ahead and talk about picture quality. Is the C3's picture quality really that much better than the C2? The LG C3's picture quality is fire. The LG C2's picture quality is fire. So to me, there's really not that big of a difference. I felt like the picture quality is really good on both of these, but the LG C3 does give you a brighter OLED display, which does make a difference when you put them side by side. Especially, I noticed this when I was gaming. I felt like gaming on the C3 was a little bit more of a better experience than it was on the C2. I just felt like the response time when using it was pretty good. I just didn't feel like there was no huge difference to the point that would make me choose the C3 over something like the C2. When it came to watching movies on Netflix, came watching movies on Disney Plus like I'm watching right here, I felt like watching movies and TV shows was no issues at all. Picture quality on both of these is A1. Gaming is one of my favorite things that I like to do on either one of these panels, and that is just because, man, the OLED quality that you get on the LG panels is so good and it's so crisp and it's so fire. Gaming on anything other than the OLED panel, man, you're honestly doing yourself a disservice, man, because it looks so good. Now, did I notice a difference in quality of gaming on the LG C2 versus the C3? Yes, the LG C3 to me is definitely the wave to go when it comes to gaming on both of these panels. Now, does that mean the LG C2 is bad? No, not at all. I feel like the LG C2 is still one of the kings out there. The fact that we do get a brighter display on the C3 definitely enhances the overall picture quality whenever I'm gaming. It makes it seem a little bit more brighter. It makes it seem sharper. A lot of the shadow details I can actually see a little bit better. Just makes it overall a much better gaming experience. Now, when it comes to like fast-paced movements, I didn't notice any lag or anything like that. I felt like the input lag is good. I felt like the response time is good. I didn't really have any issues with that at all. Now, when it comes to the gaming settings menu, now one thing that I don't like that they did on the C3 here that they didn't do on the C2 is if I go and I press my settings, right? Obviously, we're gonna get this settings menu. The difference is now you have to actually turn on Game Optimizer for the audio in order for you guys to be able to change the different settings for it. For example, I would switch this to like RPG, but in order to be able to turn that on this side, you have to actually switch the sound to Game Optimizer in order for you guys to be able to change the mode here on the LG C3. Now, again, I'm not sure why they had to do that on this one versus not having to do it on the C2, but I would recommend you guys switch that just because you're gonna get a much better picture profile and picture quality if you guys change this to whatever style of game that you guys are playing. But again, when it came to gaming on both of these displays here, I gotta go with the LG C3. Now, the next thing I want to talk about with you guys and get into, and that is the audio quality. Is the C3's audio quality better than the C2? To me, in my testing, again, I tested this watching movies on Disney Plus, watching Netflix, watching Hulu, and then I also tested it as far as gaming on it as well. The LG C3's audio quality does seem a little bit more punchier. I mean, it's just a smidgen. It's not a whole lot. And I really didn't notice it when watching movies. I actually noticed it when I was gaming. I felt like there were certain scenes when I was gaming on it, it felt a lot more punchier than what I got on the C2. Audio quality, man, I felt like it is not that big of a difference to the point where I would make a sole decision based off of just the audio quality. I recommend you guys change your setting to use AI Sound Pro because it's gonna make it sound way more fuller than if you use the standard audio settings that come with this TV. What the AI Sound Pro does is it takes an account into all of the furniture you may have, your walls, your ceilings, your floors, records everything, and it's gonna make sure your audio is tuned for your space to give you the best audio quality that you can get. To me, I would give the edge to the C3, but I'll let y'all hear it for yourself. All right, let's switch it to the C3. Y'all let me know down below which one, as far as the audio quality, sounded the best. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the home screen here. Now, for me, I personally like the C3's build quality over the C2, but there are some things on the C2 that I like over the C3, and then vice versa. So let's go ahead and start with the C2. Now, to me on the C2, I do like how thin the display is. I feel like it gives it much more of a sleeker look than something that we got on the C3. Also on the C2, I like the back end of it. I felt like on the back of here, they gave us more of like this glossier style finish versus the plastic of what we got on the C3. I don't like on the C2 the housing that has all of the I/O ports as well as the fan as well as the processor in it, because it is like this thick just back on it, and it just makes it look completely dated when you look at something like the C3. I also don't like the fact that it extends on the entire length of the back of the display, when really you can only feel the panel from half of the screen up, because the rest of the back here is all just like this thicker backing, and to me, that's just not the wave in 2023. Moving on to the C3, y'all. To me, this is my personal favorite one out of both of these, because I personally like the overall bezel look of this one, because it gives us much more of a squared off design versus what we got on the C2, where it's a little bit more of a rounded design. I feel like the square design makes it look like it's more of now, more modern than what we got on the C2. The other thing that I like is, again, I talked about the housing on the back that has all of the I/O ports. First thing, all of the I/O ports is on one side versus like the C2, they had some of the I/O ports on the side, and then some of them will be in directly behind the TV. And to me, I never really understood why they did that. I like it being all on one side, as well as I like the fact that the back end of it, as far as that panel, doesn't extend all the way through the entire length of the display, giving you an actual picture edge that you can get all the way around here, and I can just easily wipe my hands all the way down and I'm not touching that back housing of it, and it just makes it overall look way more flatter of a display than something what we got on the C2. Overall, man, I think the build quality out of both of these are solid. You're not really going to be disappointed with either one of these, but if I personally had to choose, I would actually go the C3 over something like the C2. Now, the next thing I gotta talk about with y'all, and that is dealing with the software. To me, this is one of the biggest areas where I feel like you get the most out of the C3 than you do on the C2. Now, let me break this down what I'm talking about. If I scroll down here, I got my free LG channels, of course. Now here on the C2, we got like our inputs and different things like that. Then you got sports, and then you got a Life Good hub, then you got popular games, then you got your streaming apps, then you got free TV, then you got LG channels again, then you got web browsing, and then you got this, and then you got that, and then you got that. It's just a list that just keeps going and going and going, versus something where on the LG C3, it's much shorter. We just got our things that we need to get to here up top. Then we got our app tray here at the bottom. Then we have some channels here from LG, streaming, and that's it. Like there's not a whole lot on the screen as far as the software on the C3 than what we got on the C2. I felt like the C2 had too much going on the home screen, which made the experience over time feel like it was slowing down, because it was too much stuff that I felt like it had to load up on this screen in order for you to be able to use it and just make it just a faster experience. Whereas I feel like on the C3, like the fact that I don't have that much to load up just makes the screen and just makes WebOS a whole lot more enjoyable than it does on the C2. And another thing that I like about the C3 that we don't get on the C2 is we get like this whole home office suite. We also get this music suite, which I talked about that in my video. You can check that out right here. But you just get a bunch of different music options. You get LG Mood, which gives you like cafe sounds, summer sounds, healing. You also get access to all of your music streaming services like Apple Music, Amazon Music, Tidal, Pandora, all of these different things that you get access to. And so for me, those are big deals that I felt like made the C3 to me that much more enjoyable and made me actually want to use the home screen on the C3 versus using it on the C2. Now, the other thing as far as software that I like is the settings menu. You can see here, if I press the settings menu on the LG C3, we get like this tile panel display that shows up on the side. But if I press it here on the C2, we get like this row of different things that you can go into on the side. It just doesn't look as clean as it does on the C3 than what we get here on the C2. And so for me, 100% software wise, I go with the C3 every single time. All right, so overall, man, which one of these would I actually choose? Let's go ahead and start with the person that already has the C2 and you're thinking about upgrading to the C3. I will say this, if you guys are somebody that has a C2, I wouldn't necessarily upgrade to the C3. I personally don't feel like that there's enough in the C3 that would make me want to make that leap just yet. But I will say, if you guys are somebody that might be looking to add to the C2, then definitely the C3 is definitely the wave. Maybe you're moving this one to another room and you want to upgrade to that one, upgrade that room to maybe the C3, then in that case, it's probably worth it. I wouldn't buy another C2 when you can get something like this. You can get a little bit more better of a quality than you would get out of the C2. But let's say you guys are somebody out there and you got an older Samsung TV or you got an older Sony television, then I would say 100% it would come down to the budget that you guys, are looking to spend, because right now you can get the C2 for a crazy low discount right now. I think some people are finding them between like $650 to $800, which is kind of crazy. If you can get this for $650, hey, go for it. But I will say, if I'm making the leap from maybe another manufacturer over to this one, I would 100% go with the C3. I just feel like overall you're gonna have a much better experience long term, because again, I've had the C2 for over a year, and one of my issues with this one is software wise, I felt like it's gotten slower over time because of all of the stuff that's on that home screen versus what we have on the C3 is we don't have all of that stuff on the home screen. I feel like over time, the C3 is gonna give us a much smoother overall experience long term than what we got on the C2. But yeah, man, that pretty much wraps up this video. If you got any questions about either one of these panels, you already know, drop it down in the comment section below. Again, thank y'all for watching. You hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see y'all in the next one. You already know we getting that G3 next, right?